What do you think of the idea of the mid-season draft, Adam?
Yeah, I think it was sort of floated to us. Well, it would have been a couple of years now through the AFLPA surveys and whatnot that we do, and spoke about how they're trying to follow us, I suppose, the way the NBA does it, the way the NFL does it, the American sports. So I like it. Obviously for Richmond and Melbourne and the teams that are struggling with injuries, it's good. It's reassuring for their list, and to bring in a player, obviously, who's more often than not, it's going to be an established player that has played senior footy, really good player, can come in and have an impact straight away. So I've got a lot of mates who play, not in the AFL, and I know if they were given the opportunity to play at an AFL level, that they would relish it and come in and make the most of it. So I like it.
What would you think of the future idea of a proper trade period, not just a draft
during the
period?
season?
Yeah.
It's pretty scary, pretty daunting, because to think about, imagine, if I was in the shoes of being a Collingwood player and then getting traded to an interstate team, having to relocate everything. You got a partner and hopefully have kids soon and have to relocate all that. So
it's a business.
That's pretty scary. That's pretty scary. But if it happens, it happens. I mean, like I said, they're trying to follow a trend of how sport is going this day and age, and a lot of the American sports do that. So. And that's they're probably the most successful leagues in the world.
There's no doubt we'll end up there. And I would say within the next 5 years, I reckon we're growing up as a league now to mature into the point where players will be traded mid-season. Now, whether that's down to the clubs or down to the players or when they want to move lists, I think we will see that. I reckon we've already started to see how the ability to sign players up to that January window has been successful. There was a young kid from Melbourne.
Heaps of success.
And Sydney Stacks, as Jonathan Marshall, who's playing VFL for Richmond. They're getting the opportunities, and clubs are getting a better chance to look at kids that may have an aspect of their game or their life that doesn't align at the moment. They want to sort of see them, get them in the environment, see what they can bring, and they're getting that opportunity.
The introduction of free agency has given a lot of power to the players, and the Players Association still want to bring it down. Do you think the clubs need some power back with that ability to say, right, we're going to trade you? Do you think the clubs need some power back?
I don't know where it'll go. It's sort of hard because free agency is. I mean, the contracts are with the players. We're not at the stage at the moment with the NBA, and Adam watches a lot of NBA. Would be able to say that we're just going to ship you off like that. I don't think at the moment
trade contract.
I don't think the money is big enough in the AFL to be able to go. You're a player that's on the first year, second year player that's on, so let's say 60 grand. You're living in Melbourne. You're going to go to Perth mid-year. I just don't think we're at the moment. We're at the level where we can do that to anyone. So there'll be something.
60-year player who's on 500 grand and your money and your tenure is guaranteed, but your club is not?
That's an interesting one. Yeah, and I think that's probably the player that the PA and the game will look at to go, maybe, you know what, there is a certain amount of years or there's a certain amount of dollars that you've got to get to that you sign over the dotted line.
Mate, sorry to catch you up. Free agents. The free agents think they can go. The players have got the power to trade free agents.
You can be a free agent at a very low level of pay as well.
The players keep wanting, Oh, really? How many 6-year players are on $200,000?
There'd be some battlers that got one-year contracts.
Yeah, I reckon there'd be a few.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well,
$200,000 is a lot of money.
Absolutely, it's a lot of money. Yeah. Then it might have to be a financial thing, as Jared said, $500,000. But I think that the clubs have got to get some power back. I think they lost too much. Not negatively too much, but just...
There's a balance there somewhere.
Yeah.
And what of the Jamie Elliott injury? What do you know, Adam?
I actually didn't even know he wasn't at the club today. It shows my awareness, but sorry about that,
Had
Bill.
the blinkers on.
But I did. And he only sits 2 lockers away from me, so...
Do you talk to him?
Of course I do. Of course.
When he had ice all over his leg, did you think, what's that?
I actually didn't see him today. So only when I was walking out of the club and seeing the media, I was waiting. I was like, who are you waiting for? And they obviously told me. So, from the reports, I think it's only tightness. Obviously, Jamie's had a history with his hamstring. So I just don't think it's too much to worry about. From, like I said, all reports it's tightness. He's very diligent and active with his recovery, and he's one to put his body first instead of risking it and worrying about his longevity. So he's going to be okay. He's going to be fine.
Right,
he's going to be fine.
Let's talk about the game, Carlton Collingwood. It was a
good game.
Really enthralling.
It was
game to watch. I wanted to ask you about one player. He's not on your team.
Can I have a guess who it is?
What is it like playing against Patrick Cripps and being in the little area that Patrick Cripps is also patrolling?
Yeah. It sucks at times because...
Sucks, haven't it?
He single-handedly almost got him over the line, but...
Describe him as an opponent.
He's the best... In my opinion, he's the best player in the comp. I'm not sure what you guys think, but I think he's the best player in the comp. For what he does, at his size, the way he moves, his strength, the agility. I mean, 10, 15, 20 years ago, he would have been a key forward or playing as a deep forward. So to be able to do what he does in the midfield and, he's just the star. No, I think he's almost untaggable. You can't tag him. How are you going to tag him? He's just going to bore you with his strength.
He hunts his own. But what about when he kicked that goal?
It was inspiring for him. Well and truly.
The noise, you get worried sometimes as players. You think, God, they're coming.
Yeah.
Actually, they're not coming. They're two in front. When he kicked that goal, and you were around, you were sort of walked back in the centre, you would have been concerned.
Yeah, you could.
No doubt.
The way the game was going, they outplayed us for the large part. Barring last week's game they had against North, they've been awesome in every game they've played. They've been in winning positions. They're a great defensive unit. As soon as they get a sniff and they get the momentum, they're young players. They love it. They thrive, and they can kick a winning score. And that's exactly what they were doing. They were killing us in the first 3 quarters, pretty much the whole game up until the last 5 minutes of the game when we sort of flicked the switch. I think we knew the game was on the line. Our leaders really stood up. No doubt. Brodie was awesome. Pendles was awesome. Steele had his best game for the year, I think. We could sense the moment. We knew that if we found a little bit of momentum, that we might be able to score quickly here. But I just think our leaders really stood up. I think the thing that hurt Carlton a little bit was maybe their inexperience towards the end of the game with their young guys. But there was no doubt that they outplayed us for the large part of the game. They were first class. They're going to be a great team.
And you're not just saying that,
No, not at all. Massive amount of respect for them. We knew they were going to come out, give us the absolutely best, and that's what they did.
Was it just an emotion game, or did you going around thinking tactically? They're doing pretty. They've got a pretty good game plan here. Because a lot of people question Brendan Bolton. What did you see strategically? You thought, this is pretty impressive.
Well, I think what teams like to focus on these days. Well, what wins games is playing a good brand of footy, a good balance between defence and offence, and I think their defence is really good. I think we scouted all week that they are a really good defensive unit. They defend the ground really well. It's not easy to kick through them. You see a lot of the teams that, are lower on the ladder. More often than not, you can score big numbers on them, but we just couldn't. We couldn't get through them. They were defending really well. Like I said, once you give momentum to a young group, they get a sniff, they get a little bit of momentum, they're going to just take that opportunity. And that's
so you've seen that offensive growth?
Yeah, well and truly.
You've seen it, Jack?
Yeah, I think, and I know Nick spoke about this, he can't see many holes in their structure going forward. And this is the thing with young sides. And back to Paddy Cripps, the thing that caught my eye was during the week when he was interviewed on the Monday, I think, after they lost to North. And he was really steadfast, and he said, that won't be the performance we get this week. And that's the sign of a great captain, the ability to just grab the side, put him on the back, and he has that ability. But you're always going to get a little bit of spike and trough with young sides, and it can sort of roll into each one. Like the young kid has a bad game, rolls into another young kid having a bad game. And then you might have it down. But when they play well, and when they get their tails up, young kids and their exuberance and just their absolute spunk is what can really get a side over the line. And they had 3 quarters of that, and the only reason they were beaten is because Collingwood have been to the big dance. They've got a few more older players.
That's exactly
and
what
they
happened.
And they just steadied when they needed to.
And you made him as a player?
And I made, yeah.
What was that sign?
We weren't allowed to do that, no. Rampage, I made him, yes.
Yeah, Rampage.
A couple more to get through. What was your kerfuffle on the siren with Tom Williamson?
We're just wishing him all the best for the rest of the season, and good luck for the rest of it.
Can't come on our show and
He's
lie.
a good young player. Yeah. I'm not lying. He's I think we just disagreed on a few things, but what's said on the field, said on the field.
Interesting way to shake hands.
We did shake hands at the end of it. He's a good young player. He's going to.
You're not generally like that, though, are you?
No, I think something a bit further happened up the field where he might have
He did something you didn't like.
Hit one of my teammates or whatnot after the ball or whatnot. So, yeah, I like to stand up for my teammates. So, yeah, what's happened on the field is left on the field. There's no respect lost there.
I like the fact that he's doing that, the young fella.
Yeah.
I do. How old are you now?
How old do you reckon I am?
26.
Yes, 26.
Are you really?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
Turn 26 this year.
You've been an 8-year player, mate. I mean, you're right in your wheelhouse.
Yes.
Hey, if you're standing around and there's a shot being taken goal and you see a bloke on the post, would you have known to point it out to the umpire?
That's a free kick, isn't it? There's a bloke there's from Ireland who's only been playing the game for 4 years knows it's a free kick. Oh, I couldn't believe it.
I thought it was going to be a free kick too.
That's rascalish right there. It's
No,
got
that's
too much
worse than that.
coverage.
That's worse than that. Jack, seriously, if the umpire awarded the free kick and David Myers trotted down to the line and kicked the goal, do you think, would you have been saying this is wrong?
No, it's you can't do that. Surely everyone knows that from just juniors. As I said, there's a kid from Ireland who's been here 4 years, knows the game. He's pointing at the guy on the post saying, you can't do this. So,
but isn't there a rule you can't shake the post?
Yeah.
Isn't that a rule?
Yes.
Well, there you go. It's just weird. It's just weird.
So your expectation as players is that should have been paid as a free kick and thus the game would have been altered at the end?
Was it my own? I think it should have been a free kick. Was it the moment? That's the thing. Is it the moment because at the end of the game, having a shot, it is literally win or lose. It's not halfway through the third quarter. It's win or lose because you're getting a shot on the goal line, which the same end that Gary Rowan kicked that goal after the siren against the Dons last year when he took that mark and they won.
So all the circumstances rolled together, yes or no? Do you want that paid as a free kick?
Yes.
Okay. Rascal is to finish.
Yeah, Rascal, obviously sitting at home. I didn't head over to Perth. It's too far for me and it was Mother's Day, so I
Selfish.
did the right thing and stayed home, Robbo, to celebrate Carly's first Mother's Day. But this lady here in the black leather,
Yes, this is great.
just high-fiving one of the champions of the game, Dustin, and where is she? There she is. And licks her hand.
So we're on Rascal for that?
I'm rascaling her for that. He just played 2.5 hours of footy. Can you imagine what his hand, like he had dirt and just...
There's probably a few players in the NBA that I'd do that to.
Oh, that is enough.
Maybe Kate.